It's Tuesday, and this is Trekland HQ version 2, and we are live. Well, RIP Kelvinverse, and happy 10th birthday to Portal47. It's our 10th anniversary party Thursday with David Goodman. Yes, and results of a snap poll today on Trekland Tuesdays Live with me, Dr. Trek, Larry Jack, coming at you here from the heart of Trekland. It's episode 424. Here from, yes. For everything for the, what is it we do here? For some sanity, clarity, and a big picture in all things Star Trek. So glad to be back with you for another Tuesday. Hey, everybody, if you are just finding out about Trekland Tuesdays Live, I'm going to welcome you. We are this time of day, so we can reach around the globe and get a lot of our European fans and friends. It's folks from East Asia, maybe even in the next morning. We've had South Americans. We've had folks from Africa. All the continents except Antarctica have chimed in at some point. And glad to be back here with you. Again, kind of a low news cycle for Star Trek in general, but lots of things going on. I've got results, if you voted, from the snap poll, flash poll, on my newsletter and also a couple of times on Twitter about your reaction to Khan, the audio drama. Okay, but first off, the things, yes, a death and a birthday, and neither one of them about a human being specifically. So that's the topic today. Just thrilled to see everybody here. And listen, if you are new, you should jump into our chat because the TTLers are there. It's a good group. It's a great group. They support the show. They support me. They support each other. They support Trek. And we will dive into the chat after I get off of my soapbox here at the beginning. We'll take a micro break, and then I really will run through all the chat to see what people want to talk about. Which reminds me, though, if you're talking about the chat, if you're looking at it, just be here on YouTube, please, because that's the way you'll see everybody's comments, even the Twitch folks and even the Facebook folks. Facebook people can only see other Facebook chats. So come in on YouTube. You see all the chat. You also have a chance to, I do appreciate it. This is a super chat. We're monetized. I don't do much with it, but if you feel compelled, if you feel the need to little silver my way, by way of a super chat on YouTube, that's great. Otherwise, yes, we'll get to the chat in a little bit. And hey, if you're watching us later on YouTube, that's cool too. This is an edited version. You won't see the live chat at the end, but you can keep the conversation going in the comments below when you're watching. And then, sometime, some week, you may be able to catch us on a Tuesday at 1-ish Pacific, 4-ish Eastern, 8-ish Central, and 9-ish 9-ish Central Europe and 10-ish. 10-ish Central Europe, 9-ish UK. All right. No, it's glad to see everybody here. The big news, did I mention? Did you hear me say Thursday? Thursday is our 10th anniversary for Open House. The guest this year is David Goodman. It's at 7 p.m. for David, but 6 p.m. Pacific if you want to come in and be part of the sample Ask Dr. Trek Roundtable. Look, my open house is just here to kind of give the world a sample. What is an open house anyway? Do you ever have a business open house? Do you ever have open house in school? What do? Everybody puts on their best their best looks. We dress the place up and we let the public in. And look, Portal47 is how I finally came up with a way to have a business that didn't tread on the IP. I didn't get in the way of licensing because everything is fair use. It's backstage. It's non-fictional. Not using any images of anybody official, right? It's all backstage. Whether it's our guest conversation, whether it's archives that I share with everybody. And it's just anything to do with the portal is doable, but also something that I feel like is a service, is a value for the subscription. And then we have deals and specials. Open house is the one time a year when we let people in the doors, basically, and show off our wares. Simple, Ask Dr. Trek round at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. And it's basically whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about Trek backstage, you want to talk about Trek business world. That's what the Portal is. We let everybody else talk about the actors because actors are never going to be seen. We're here for not just recording and archiving the folks who made Star Trek, the cake beneath the shiny icing, but we're here to answer questions, to talk about history, to share, to have a good time. And once a year, when I'm at a con with our Portales members, we have a live dive, and it's a drink and apps on Portal, and we all get together for our meetup. It's our live dive because the Deep Divers was the first nickname anyway. Yeah. I want to circle back around to some thoughts about Portal because I'm just always in the business of doing Portal. But before I do, I want to talk about something else that I rarely talk about the last 5 or 10 years, which is in any format, which is the state of Star Trek movies. And I know since 2007 or 2008, when the first movie was announced, I went from anxiety to can't care because I found that it was an alternate universe. And on the good side, as a long timer, as an old backgrounder from way back, I was both relieved and kind of annoyed. So, number one, I was relieved because it was an alternate universe. I don't care. They can be as bull in a china shop, clumsy, un-Trekish as they want to be, because it's not real Star Trek. And I'm kidding, but I mean prime timeline. And it's canon, Kelvinverse, whatever they do, if they just stay in here, and in mirror universe. And it's a time stream. It's a universe. The prime timeline is the one with, as far as 800 hours, what are we up to now? It's the one that people are emotionally invested in. The creatives are creatively invested in it. It strays at times big time, especially visually. I've got lots more problems with the visual canon than the actual conceptual canon. And, we've talked about this over the years. But the announcement of eventually, after the worrying early, worries, signs, leaks, that it's alternate universe. So no one cares. Yay. What did annoy me at the time was I saw the writing on the wall. We were in the time of the Viacom divorce, and I came up with this metaphor. It seems like a million years ago now, but right in the early throes there, the minute the movie was announced, I thought, okay, in the divorce, and they fought over this kid. The Star Trek baby was fought over. There was even an 11th hour attempt by Paramount to pull it back. I have to get into the weeds on this sometime, if such a thing as memos still exist in 2005 and 2006. But when they were wrapping up the decree, the divorce settlement, Star Trek was seen and defined primarily as a TV franchise. And if you add up the hours, back in the day there, you had what, 10 hours? You had 10 titles. You had 20 hours of time. You had whatever it was, 600 hours of TV time. So yes, you had to see Star Trek as primarily a TV franchise, a TV product. So to Mama CBS. Eventually, what turns out to happen is that Mount Pictures takes the kid on summer vacation, and it's a good time when JJ did his deal. Mama CBS, there's no family. So the kid looks shinier when it's out with Daddy Paramount. Not so much. Kind of takes it for granted. Oh, what happens here? I never adapted the Paramount for the streaming revolution. Okay, that's how we get small screen adventures back, right? But at the time they announced the JJ movies, I saw the writing on the wall. Especially when I got to finally ask, after just reading the tea leaves publicly, but I finally got to ask now Bob Orsi. We finally did an interview a year after the 2009 movie. By the way, calling the first movie Star Trek was not only so annoyingly arrogant. It was effingly confusing. And I knew the minute they said that, I said, well, we'll just call it Star Trek 09, because you can't call the movie Star. You already had a series named Star Trek and a franchise named Star Trek. It's like, you dickheads just don't know what you've done. Which was kind of not being very savvy signals about the whole thing. Wasn't giving me any great pains. But I realized that if they're not going to, I ask, and finally read between the lines, they're not planning to do a series set in that universe. They're not even going to plan to do an edited series, a comic. Well, comics, there were a few comics, but there was screen of any kind in this universe. So they're just going to do a movie. The actors were on 3 film contract deals for this. They're going to do 2 or 3 years apart. We'll get 2 hours of Kelvinverse every 2 or 3 years at best, and we didn't. Maybe a 4th if someone decides to hop. These are movie actors. They don't want to do a series, and they won't promote like a series, and they relate to the fan base like a series would. Tried to tell everybody all this. I wrote down the idea, the concept. I'm just saying, here's the reality. Look what happened. It's exactly what happened. In fact, it even strung out even more, partly by the return of the movies, of the TV series, I think, even with the difficulty. But I predicted with the first movie coming down, and once we knew the parameters, I said, well, 3 of these, maybe for 2 to 3 years, but what will happen is anybody might be about the first one to it, the day after you see it at the premiere, the day after the first time, whether it's a hit or a bomb, you will wake up and go, oh, I have to wait 2 or 3 years to get 2 more hours of Star Trek? I don't like this delivery system. I don't like this package, this form. I tried to tell people without knocking the movie, yes or no, and that's exactly what happened. So the bottom line to me is my generation saw the last weekly Trek in 2005, and I knew that 3 or maybe 4 movies to run their course before either the cast or whoever was in charge got bored with it. That would be at best 10, maybe 12. I knew that I was going to have to wait. Me, selfishly, I have to wait years before I get back to the one that everybody. I'm not being old man yelling on the yard here. I love this the day it occurred to me. I'm doing, yeah, there's hundreds of hours invested in this universe, and eventually 6 in the other. 6 without backup of any kind, without any kind of fleshing out series, animated series, or live action. So once they went down that path, chose that way, not even like to go to another angle, like do what Star Wars had done, go to another corner of the universe, have a different cast, but still have it be have Vulcan be lost and the Vulcans scattered and yada yada. Have incredibly stretching starships. And that's what, until the 90-degree here tangent of the streaming server, kind of as far as the franchise goes. But look, you had separated, ended. You had the parents divorced. They weren't particularly paying attention to what the other one was doing. So I was just annoyed, even more so, not so much at the content, but at the timing. So yes, I was glad that it only took 12 years. Well, 10 years, 9 years for the announcement, 12 years for the of small screen Star Trek. I had plenty to critique the beginning of Discovery, and just the problematic birth, horrendous birth of the show. It was back, and we weren't waiting on 2, 3, 4 years of some unconnected, discombobulated movie universe. Best part of the movies was the casting. Second best part was just the fact that they existed. I'm glad they existed because the people not paying attention, the rest of Hollywood, the bean counters, the suits, and the blah, blah media at least saw a blip from Star Trek every few years and said, okay, Star Trek's alive. It wasn't dead for 12 years in their mind. For a lot of us, it was, but hey, we could tread water with these movies. And I never meant to be cruel. I just was meaning being factual. And if at any point somebody had popped up and said, hey, we are going to do a series, a mini series, a 10 episode, we're going to do, the Clone Wars version with the Kelvin universe. If somebody had said an animated series, then fine, go to it, flesh it out. Maybe be better than the movies. New characters. Please don't reboot any old characters, though. That didn't happen. And when that didn't happen, it was pretty easy to tell the writing on the wall. And that's what I've been saying for, how long? Over 15 years. So, these last few years of the dance of future Paramount and what will happen and the sentimentality around the Chris Pine cast and the fact that it'll be 10 years since they got their last delayed movie out. I get the sentimentality. The same thing happened that made Star Trek 6 happen. 2 studio turnovers in a row on the meh box office for Star Trek 5. In a normal world, you'd never had a Star Trek 6, but there was enough sentimentality around those actors and characters and what they had done for Paramount Pictures, TV and movies, that 6 was willed into happening. And apparently, those sentimental roots don't run nearly as deep for the Kelvin cast. I got it. Again, it's just math, people. The more time goes by, your sentimentality, your emotions aren't so hot, and all you can fall back to is math. And I don't mean just math of the box office and the ticker tape, but I mean the math of years in existence. And apparently the desire, whether it's this Origins movie that, again, is a holdover from the last regime, whether the new movie runners want to wipe out everything, that's not what we've learned. All based on this reporting, the reports that come out, and people reading the lines, seeing the movie mentioned, but seeing upon further call-up, no mention of that 4th Kelvin movie. Will it just be the stuff of history and legends and scripts that never were? I mean, there's already been 47 of them, it feels like, the last 10 years. So there you go. R.I.P. Kelvinverse. Unless there had been different decisions made, increasingly over the years, I could almost predict this happen. The saving grace here is that we didn't have to wait till now to have a return to TV. In fact, maybe a return to small screens is what hastened this meh attitude toward these movies anyway. The chaos and the financing and the who's running the show this week mentality of the last 5 years of Paramount in and out of the sale process, the bidding war or lack thereof, that didn't help. But there was nothing driving this 3 or 4 years. There just wasn't a well of sentimentality behind these characters to will it into existence the way Star Trek 6 did. Even though it was a great placeholder, I totally realize lots of fans, first Trek, and don't you ever forget this, because you never, and not millions of fans around the world, their first taste of Trek was a Kelvin movie, was a JJ movie. So always got to respect that. And then if they stuck around and found the rest of the franchise, then you got to credit the JJ movies for getting them here in the first place. So, yes, R.I.P. Kelvin movies. We hardly knew you, but that was your decision. and yeah, the out of control, rough and tumble, chaos floodbed here of the last 10 years of rudderless Star Trek big screen shepherding, I guess would be the word. So we'll see. And I know a lot of people are worried, increasingly so, even more than at the time the deal went through now, the initial deal, about what take greater Paramount going to take. We'll see on that front. both from TV series. We have a lot of questions we've got to have answered, but the one apparently answered is no more Carl Urban McCoy. And hopefully we will eventually see this whole litany of scripts that were out. We may see what was up with those, and maybe we can decide on our own if maybe this was a good thing or not. We'll see. In the same week, though, and the thing that I never talk about, and I should, you know how sometimes you get into just doing the thing and you don't talk about it? I used to just roll my eyes when I would be involved with a community theater group, a convention, and people would get so into the doing of it, not doing a great job of that. But it's almost people that put so many hours, blood, sweat, and tears in a production or mounting a convention, taking financial risks, much less all the time invested. And they forget to tell the world. They forget to tell the world. Saw this all the time in the old days. Now we have social media, and people can tweet and Instagram and Blue Sky. They can do themselves to pieces and promote. And people who may not have as large a role in the thing and help out on that end. And that's probably a healthier. But in the old days, it seemed like people would just completely forget to tell. Then they open, and then they wonder why nobody's there. Or they open on Friday afternoon and get to Saturday with their con and wonder why. Where is everybody? Well, did you tell them? Did you tell them you're going to tell them? Did you tell them what you're going to tell them and then tell them again you just told them? Yeah, that's what it needs. And that's why I was just on Chris, you in the audience today. I was just on the transporter room, and it hit me like a ton of bricks this week. We'd been planning this for a couple of months. It was for a day, but we finally settled on the day. This is open house week for Portal47. What is that? Well, it's the time every year in the fall where I mark the anniversary of Portal47. You know, my backstage business service for fans, right? It's for all the fans who have no idea how much Star Trek they still have no idea about. It's your insider's guide to more in-depth Trek. It's like a mini con all year long, no matter where your center seat is in the world. It's that thing I started because I didn't know what to do with my life and my Rolodex and my assets and archives, and met an entrepreneur's coach who said, oh, yes, you can do something with that. In 2015, before anybody knew what the hell Zoom was it invented. But using phone lines on free conference call, we got started in the late summer of 2015 with kind of the soft launch. And by fall, I had a few members and we were off and rolling. And within 6 months, we had shareable cameras on freeconferencecall.com, and we had webcams. February, March. Started this thing, officially soft launched it at Comic-Con San Diego in 2015, then Vegas, and then we started having the first live September, October. The first guests were all phone lines the first 2 or 3 months, and then we went to cameras, and by March, here we were. March of 2016, we were virtually meeting from around the country, and then we added European portals. If I got 6 European members, we'd add an Ask Dr. Trek roundtable for the Europeans at a different time, so it's their prime time. And we did that within a year or so. And kids, we were doing that. I knew some teachers and some meetup groups were doing that kind of thing. But, you know, we'd have guests on guest night, and a lot of the retired folks, if they had a webcam at all, it was a little camera lens that was on their 1980s PC. It was not up to the rigors of even 2016 era live streaming, and that was hinky. Only one time, for some mysterious reason, we lost half a program with a guest, and then we went back later on and tried to redo that. I don't know what was harder, though, pulling that off or just going out to fandom and explain, yeah, you have a camera on your computer or you get one on it, or you can come on your phone and then you dial this number and we can talk like people are like, what? What? It's like a phone conference only with a webcam. What? You can what? Yeah. And hoping that all of our guests had phone lines and connections and streaming in their homes, their Wi-Fi was up to par to be able to do that. And all of us in the baby steps of the day. But at the same time, I mean, you know, when you see, I mean, the board back here, where's the board? Oh, there we go. You know, that's a sliver of folks. You have a different guest every month. I was telling Chris on the transporter room the other day, I was trying to have a business that I, at a time when the world was just, everything big box was imploding, and it looked like digital and online was going to be something, but who the hell knew what that was going to be? There were no rule books. There were no dummies guide to. And a lot of times, a lot of years there, it was just pretty scrambly. But we launched this, and then as a perk for Portal47, we launched the Trekland Treks day tours. And, you know, the entrepreneurial blend with Star Trek and asking fans to pay for when so much was free, and trying to raise it to a level that felt guilt-free about asking an equitable for that. It's weird because the old caution is out there, right? Whatever you enjoy, careful when you take what you enjoy as your passion hobby and try to make a business out of it. A few people do that. Anybody from, oh my gosh, hobby shop owners, model kits and model railroads and model rockets and all of that, you know, to people that do it, cars, anything you enjoy doing, if you make it into a business, you may rue that decision. You may grow to hate the thing you love. And that's a concern. Fortunately, this is Star Trek. Fortunately, not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's like, I want to do, this is what I want to do. I want to shed a spotlight on the people that don't get noticed, who should be, the people who aren't on convention stages, the people who don't get interviewed for the magazines, and then eventually the people who aren't getting talked to about podcasts. Let's get them out for notice. And at the same time, everything is recorded. Everything in the portal is recorded. Roundtables, the guest night, everything. And we're recording these people for posterity too. It may not be the long 2-3 hour sit down that I like to have when I talk to somebody for the first time. Not the little happy dappy blips to promote the latest thing, not a little quick soundbite, but a real in-depth archival that doesn't, the archival interviews I did in the past on the cassette tapes for you from the companion forward, didn't have to have a show. I just wanted the facts. I wanted the emotions and the insight recorded for posterity. I didn't want to have to entertain somebody watching us. Now, that's not so hard to do, but it puts a crimp. Nobody wants to sit and watch a 2-hour, 3-hour interview. And that's what a lot of my old ones in the day with Trek creatives wound up being. And I've been lucky enough to do some of those even now, because still so much of the creativity team end is still in LA. But that's not how you make any kind of thing to pay your groceries and your rent these days. You have to have a show. And everybody on YouTube, all the podcasts, all the Patreons, the way it's evolved, since there was no Patreon in 2015, it's all evolved where you have to entertain people. The purity of just hearing pure fact doesn't motivate some people. Just like going out to filming locations, I thought would just be cool. And it is cool. But we do add on entertaining features, right, when we go out, just to add to the experience. Because the pure fun of the fact isn't what always appealed to people. Well, that's what we've been after. And that's what I've been after. And I'm just going to say this is the 10th anniversary. Every year we've had Robert Butler, now rest in peace, who was the original director of the 10 years ago was the 50th. So I launched Portal47 as we were celebrating the big 5-0, right? And out of the 5-0 of July and August and September in 2015, well, we were ramping up to 2016 for the 5-0, which was a little bit of a headwind, a tailwind. It was a little bit of a help. And we grew a little more. Portal is still not nearly as big as I had planned originally, but I love the Portalia. A lot of people have come and left, and that is fine. I've had some members that have been here almost since the beginning, which is kind of crazy to think about. And yeah, some people have come and gone. They get their fill and they move. They've always kept, especially the guest interviews are all there. But it was interesting. The beginning, it was all about the pressure on me to deliver. I'm actually asking people to pay money for Star Trek. I'm not even licensed because I don't have to be. But, I'm not Playmates. I'm not Pockets. I'm not IDW. I'm asking people to pay for something, and it's got to be up to a certain bar. And in the beginning, when everyone was not part of the alliance, I thought that was a reflection on me. I thought I'm failing or I'm boring or whatever. And it just turns out that people like the option. Not everybody wants to be at the live event if they know they're going to get not only the recording, but even the chat room to have the experience if they want it. And that's always been a benefit too from day one, was we have everything's recorded and everybody can listen to it later. The roundtables where we talk about Trek and the news, whatever anybody wants to talk about. That's always been recorded just as much as the guest nights. And so after a few months, what do you do? In the business world? You have an annual meeting. You have some kind of a thing. And now we've gone virtual and we don't do events. Well, from day one, my big event is the open house. It made sense. I was in a circle with people in that entrepreneurs group who were saving babies and saving wild animals and curing cancer or supporting those who were, all these life-saving, world-threatening, world-saving ideas. And here I am just trying to shine the light on backstage Star Trek and make people happy with that and preserve something for the future and have a business that I could pay bills from. And finally, one of my mundane business colleagues said, and I mean not a fan colleague, because I found out there were lots of closet people or people who knew fans in that circle, finally said, Larry, shut up. You're doing lots of good. In this world, in the world gotten more and more worldlier, people need their passions. They need that gives them pleasure in the world when they come home from work, when they've had a bad day, when they want to share something with their family. And that's where you are. And it dawned on me, I'm like that world that when I was younger, fandom used to bang heads with. Fandom used to feel inferior to. Sports world. As we have gone along, people realize that, if you paint yourself up and wear goofy clothes and go to the passion pit central of you could be going to a convention, you could be sitting in the end zone looking like a crazy guy in 20-0 weather. You both love what you're doing. You both love your team. You both love representing, and they're exactly the same. And look at the industry around supporting sports fandoms. It's the same thing, not the same thing, but in that guise it is. So that's what I've proceeded with the last few years. I can't believe it's been 10 years. The open house has increasingly been a thing. And when I say open house, I'm trying to bridge the virtual gap here. We have door prizes, physical prizes that get mailed to the winners. So we sample everything that's normally behind the paywall, the Ask Dr. Trek roundtable, and then our guest. And although I say we have great guests all year long from all the different behind the scenes venues, guilds, ways to work, and ways to have something to share about their Star Trek years, I try to save some of the pinnacles for open house, right? And get the curious to come in the door. when the doors are open wide. And yeah, Robert Butler, the first year, the director of The Cage, because the first anniversary was 2016. So our first open house guest was Bob Butler, that directed The Cage, and only The Cage, because he only directed pilots, including Batman, including Hill Street Blues, including Hogan's Heroes, iconic shows, and he directed the pilots and set the tone, and was great. And then we had him live with his son's help down at Comic-Con in 2019. And from then on, people with the likes of Ira and Renee and Mike Westmore. I'm leaving people out. David Livingston. A lot of folks who hadn't been heard from a lot. And this is the mid-teens, remember. And then finally, Mike McMahon and the Hageman brothers. I'm leaving some out because we've done 10 of these plus one, because one year I did 2. I look around the landscape now, and we've had the explosion of podcasts. We've had the explosion of YouTubers. We've even made the explosion of YouTubers not about the scummy, toxic tubers, even nice, good tubers. And yes, we've started to have people wake up. Look at you, Inglorious Trexperts, Mark. Looking at different, Scott and his Enterprise Incidents TOS podcast. We've had more and more people. I mentioned Chris. Hey, the actors are doing that now. You're seeing behind the scenes and coming out open Pike night. What they had been getting the strange new folks on. And power to them. I've actually seen a revolution. Connor and Dom, who they're not just bringing on actors, they're bringing on writers and directors and others, creatives. A lot of people are getting their due. Yay. I would like to think we had a tiny, tiny bit in poking that bear. Whoops, that's political. In pushing that along, floating that idea every month, just trying to advertise who we had as the guest on my socials, trying to remember to thank the guest from guest night, and just putting it out there that this is happening and that this kind of experience is there. And look, good Lord, I found out my second year in fandom that my take on fandom and my passions are not near the same as everybody. But there's a lot more out there than I thought back when there were me and 5 other people talking about background in the pages of Interstat, when the 35 women were all talking about Spock and Vulcans and Ponfar and Sarek and Amanda. I knew it was a minority, but it's reached beyond that proportion these days. And it's been cool to see these people get more and more and more recognition. But even as the new series have come along, and some people have even been Toronto-based, they vaguely know that they're working on Star Trek and they'll be interested in what they do, but they still have no idea. A chunk of people, if they could arrange it, would just plop those folks down at a table and sit there for 4 or 5 or 6 hours, nonstop, depending on what they do. Are they a writer? Do they design makeup aliens? What do they do? They design ships? Are they creating CG? Are they supporting the writers? Are they supporting the stage crew? Are they assistant directors? What do they do? And so many of those folks who are new to Trek because they're Canadian and they weren't really savvy, it's amazing. Or, they're just trying to keep working in a time of crazy work patterns in the industry. And the idea that anybody would want to hear what they had to say, even after 60 years, is an alien concept to some folks. Now, our legacy people from the original series who have almost all passed on, so we celebrate them in the 60th next year. The Berman era folks, we're losing a lot of them too, but they are still with us. And now, even 10 years ago, the pieces for Discovery were starting to come together. Hot, don't touch. But that's even going to be 10 years now, and the wheels are going to be flying by the time it's going to be flying by. I said at the beginning that sometimes when we get into the thing that we're trying to do, we don't set back and do meta. We're so busy in the con or the play, don't stop to share it with the world. And I'm guilty about that too. So this is my year, 10 years though. 10 years is a benchmark, I think. So I have not been promoting as much as I should. So I thought I would actually take a Tuesdays Live segment here and say, hey, Portal47 is 10 years old. It's open house this week, Thursday night with the great Dave Goodman, who I also don't think has had his share of being out there. And if anything else, he's been out there more for maybe than he is for his Star Trek. Even though we are going to be Trek focused, and the Orville and Family Guy, for that matter, aren't going to be, the focus of questions. There's lots of overlap. There's lots of territory we're going to get into about Family Guy, and then the Orville coming downstream from not just Enterprise that Dave worked on, but his world as a Star Trek fandom, very much a Star Trek fandom himself. He wrote Where No Fan's Gone Before, the Star Trek episode of Futurama, which is what got him the job. Brannon saw that and thought Enterprise needed more humor. Well, yeah, duh. And that's how Dave came to the staff for seasons 2 and 3 of Enterprise. Even on Family Guy, all those Trek parodies and the Stewie TNG episode where he kidnaps the main cast. There's lots of that. But most of all, for us now in our savvy time here, Dave was president of the Writers Guild. It was a big thing as he presided over the WGA during the big pushback against their agents' fees system that had been in place. And they led a big, scary reform where they encouraged writers to leave their agents if they would not change the way this fee was, they thought, unfairly assessed and charged, and had been there for decades. And they won that battle. And then turn around, his term ends, he hands it off, and he's the chairman of the next pattern negotiating committee, and they have the strikes. So I'm looking forward to talking to David. And now here we are here talking about who's going to own Paramount. What the hell does streaming even look like? Where do we go from here? Is the industry dying in LA? Is it all going to wind up in the UK, and Atlanta's not going to? David's worked with animation and live action, and I don't see him out there talking much. So yeah, we're going to do some great look backs and some behind the scenes on his Star Trek work, how it affected the Family Guy parodies and the Orville, right? Having been a companion of Seth for both those other shows, and been responsible as an extra, as that engineer on Enterprise in later years, but also the state of the whole streaming system. Because one thing we do in Portal, just like I do here, is you may not know or care much about the business end of Trek, but by the time it comes out the pipeline and you're watching it on your screen, what's happening in the big world is affecting what you do or don't see. So I just say it's great not to be a deer in the headlights. I like to know what's going on in the big bad world, to know how it's affecting what's coming down the Trek pipeline at me. So if you haven't done it already, I hope you would go over, my open house. It's like an open house. It is free. All I'm asking is you sign up with your email. That way you're in the draw pile for the door prizes. And yeah, I take the pains to mail it to you if you win. It's just a non-verse, right, for new people. And we have open mic. Basic Dr. Trek Roundtable is, when it's not the members, there'll be some there. An hour at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. And then David is scheduled to join us at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Hopefully, we've never had a guest start yet that didn't. Oh, okay. we have never not had a guest not stay longer than an hour. So, and then for everybody who stays through the whole thing, not that I think I'm having to beg you, but we'll do one more door prize at the end. So if you have not already, click over at LarryNemechek.com. Just go find it. Click on any of the links. Just leave your email there, and you'll get the Zoom link for Thursday night. The Zoom link, and you can pre-submit questions too. The chat will be going, but it's always better to have questions up front. So there's kind of a roadmap for what we're doing. If you've not been with us for a open house before, hope you can make it this week. There's a lot going on. The other thing that's happening right is you're going to be seeing Terrace and I a lot talking about the big tour. We're getting out and making the rounds, right? So the big tour next year, the week before Vegas, first time in 10 years, we're really, really, really making a push. We're starting to get signups. We need 11. We cut off at 23. It's the days before Vegas. We wind up there. You don't have to go to STLV. It's not required, but we'll wind up there starting here in LA. The actual location film sites. It's an actual tour. We're on the van. We're all in a hotel together. It's a great way to meet other fans, people who might have the same kind of interests you do. And of course, that's not wiping out my Trekland Treks day tours. If you're interested in those, they're still there. We want to do that. I do want to wrap up, though. You guys have been great. It's a history week. I just thought I had to talk about the Kelvin movies. We don't talk about them much around. They've been so low key. But I think it's just going to be a quirk of history that they occurred, apparently. And heaven forbid anything to do with Star Trek not be a quirk of history in some way. But also, I'm glad I wanted to make sure and plant a little flag and be a little proud papa about Portal 47 and what we've been able to accomplish. I mean, personally, I don't stop to think about the ripple effects either, but maybe the ripple effects have had a little something to do from our humble origins and beginnings. And even though we've been, 60, 70, 80 people at times, the Portal community, I realized really early on that all the pressure wasn't on me to deliver so that I felt justified in charging a subscription fee for this. In the days before Patreon, in the days before YouTube live casting, before Zoom, in the days before Patreon, I cobbled together this model, and we've tweaked it over the years. But I'm glad that enough people have seen the value and the worth in this, and hopefully more people are doing that. Even as lots of other shows are out there that have Patreon followers, and they get out and they're all about the YouTube hits. I knew I needed to have something more concrete up front. So if you want to get boring and say the business model, that's the business model. But I just want to thank everybody for putting up with us talking about it, and for those who have taken a chance and jumped in with us for 1 or more years. I want to thank those folks, and everybody over the years who's just come and enjoyed the open house for what it is. Again, we get to share, and there you go. Again, just go to LarryNemechek.com, click on one of the links that get you there, leave your email. You'll get a reply, and then we will send out the Zoom, and you'll know that you're already in the draw pool. Probably on Thursday morning for that evening. Thursday at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, and an hour later is when Dave joins us. But you want to come for the first hour just to hear what people are talking about and get in on the prize draws. All right? I literally don't think I've ever talked about Portal 47 that much outside of a little quickie Portal 47 commercial. Listen, everybody, I do appreciate everybody here. We're going to take a break now and come back for chat. I may have to take a 3-minute break and go talk to some workers outside the house here. So we'll do it live. But I won't go until, of course, back here in Trekland streaming. I want to thank all the Patreons who are helping me on this. So thank you so much, Chuck A., James Kerwin, Diana Hopkins, Halbjörn Gunnjonsson, Lawrence Todd, Chris Jiggins, Mitch Keith, Keith Rombach, Josh Patton, Pranakasha Productions, and Comedy Forecast, and not so clever, our live wires. Yes, our $10 folks, J.R. Poole, Gary Williams, Bob McLean, Byron Bailey, MJ Frug, thank you for joining recently, Chris Garris, Brandon Coles, Dave Gregory, Jesse at Crusher Convo, Donna S. Runyon, and Casey Shafsky. This end of Trekland is just our simple Patreon that I started when Patreon got big. Patreon.com/TreklandLive, $5 or $10 a month or more. But it's for the shout out, and the $10 folks have had access to the early years Portal 47 guests as a way of kind of airing out the closet a little bit and letting a few more eyeballs have a shot at that. Again, day Trek tour here for the sites that you want to see, the film sites. We work it out ahead of time. TreklandTreks.com, 4 sites and a fast food lunch, 6 hours. And I'm your concierge, chauffeur, prop wrangler, cosplay helper, whatever you need. The big tour is GeekNationTours.com. And it's Tuesday. That means a new Trek Files. And speaking of people working on their projects, we had another visit with the great Doug Drexler. His Kickstarter is out there. They're needing a little help to get to the end. Meanwhile, we dived into his first exposure to the next era, coming in as a fan, but a professional makeup artist at the time. He's got a great letter from Bob Justman and tons more stories. Everybody loves Doug. That's why this project is happening. So check out this week's Trek Files. If you didn't hear last week's, Doug is part of that too. Different era, different topic. But I love it if you could, Trek Files. And don't forget, the Trek Files community, the Trekophiles, we have our own Patreon on Discord as part of the Roddenberry Patreon over there. So the Trek Files specialty community, we have our own live show every other Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific called Trekophiles Tonight. But we also have boards which access all the Roddenberry boards at the Patreon Discord. And it's only $1 a month if you would join that. And then you have access to everything on their boards. But yeah, you can join the Trek Files family, the Trekophiles. Would love to have you over there too. And hey, all the socials still the same. Larry Nemechek on Twitter X, on Blue Sky, it's Larry's Trekland, on Facebook, on Instagram, and Portal47.net. If everything about Portal 47 is new to you, go check out the website and see if it's of any interest to you. And then follow your curiosity. Come over. One last before we go, I ask everybody on my newsletter this week, and if you're not signed on the newsletter, you can do that at LarryNemechek.com too. It's been absent last year, but we're getting back. No, I asked the question, had you watched the audio drama Con? I think I had some tweets with this on the poll too. I had a range of options. Did you watch it? Here's how it went. All the way from, yes, I watched it all, but I was disappointed. 0. No one said that. I did have some random answers. Yeah, I watched it all. It was okay. 1. Right. Yes, but I didn't watch it all. I lost interest. Okay. I had another one person there, 2.3%. Oh, I'm sorry. Got this backwards. The 1% was, yes, I didn't listen. I lost interest. I didn't finish all the way through. 2.3%, which was also tied with, no, I could not get through the first episode. I didn't enjoy it. Okay. 2.3% there. Then, though, we jump up to the next response. No interest in it. Okay. 9.1%. Well, there's the 10% beginners I talk about, the loud 10%. Not rude, but just that's where it fell. No interest in listening to the Con audio drama podcast. Okay. It's a production. I hate calling it a podcast. Then the next chunk is, yes, but I just not have finished it yet. So, okay, it's 9 episodes that are all 30, 40 minutes, right? 15.9%, 16% said they are watching, they're just not finished. And of course, the finale dropped a week ago. So it's all out there now, all 9 segments. So then we have a tie. 2.7% said, one said, no, but I plan to. Okay, so there's the positives. Another 22% said, wait, there's a con audio drama? So just in my little, 3% of my entire reacting mail list, between 20 and 25% are saying there's 22% that had not even heard about it. So, okay, well, now they have. The biggest chunk, an exact 25%, has said, yes, it was great. It was fine. It was fun. So that's kind of an interesting, the negatives though, only the, I say negatives, sincere negatives, about 11%, 12%. Everybody else somewhere on, I haven't watched it all, but I plan to, and all the way, are totally unaware. A little over 20%. Totally unaware. Gang, that's going to do it. I'm going to say bye for now. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. If some of you are busy, then we'll see you later. I've got to go outside and then I'll be back and we'll finish up the chat here in a second. But if you're leaving me now, hopefully you can join us sometime. Stay healthy, do all the things. There's flu out there. There's weird patterns of people not protecting themselves, which is going to make it rough on the rest of us going through the winter more than it has to be. So please do all the things, right? Stay healthy, stay awoke, check the sources. Crazy times, folks. And most of all, maybe I'll see some of you Thursday night. I'd love to see everybody. But whether it's here or next Tuesday, trek well, everybody. Now, I apologize for this. We're having a little work done. I'm going to head out. I will be back. Hey, we'll do it live. And before I forget, Terrace and I are going to be guests on The Main Viewer later on today for all of you chat packers who make a Tuesday marathon out of it. So chalk that one up. Be back in 5. Anybody still here? Well, that was different. Okay, I am now back scrolling. And as loud as I was, you might have even heard me through the window here. I don't know. Did anybody hear me through the window? We had a weird time. Hey, Cake, thank you. Thank you for the anniversary. We're crossing titles a little bit, but I am now back scrolling. Good to see everybody, though, here. Sorry for that crazy, but there you go. Christoph's on me as usual. There we go. Yes, Christoph, Ask Dr. Trek European, speak of the devil, will be tomorrow like normal time. Noon Pacific, 8 Central. Yes, 9 Central Europe. Tomorrow is regular European at the noon time. And then open house is Thursday evening. Okay. Let's see. This is St. Martin's Day. Okay. Well, in the U.S., it's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. And it's Armistice Day, if they still call it that. Hey, Red Shirt Bob. Which latest news would that be? The end of the Kelvin movies or something else? Something else. But thanks for being by, everybody that's here. Oh no. Boo, S3. I was breaking up. Eek. Eek, eek, eek. Did it settle down? I hope it settled down. Oh no. Did it settle down? Please, please, please tell me it settled down. Why would we be breaking up? Oh, for a minute, but then it calmed down, hopefully. Oh, seriously? Guys, thanks for being here, but what was going on? Did it last? Did it go forever? Hey, Astral, you are remembering real well. A lot of malaise and depression. No one thought that, the media pundits thought Trek would have to go rest for 20 years. Yeah. Yep. They did have some great trailers. I don't think so much so. Especially the further we get away from it, I don't think that had so much to do with it. A lot of memories of 09. So this is what I mean. We've had a whole fandom generation come along since 09. I mean, that's only been 16 years. Yeah. 15 years anniversary last year. Moderate fans of Trek, but they love the movie, even though engineering push you. Yep. One of those discouraged people. So pumped for the new movie. There you go. Hey, Timothy, good to see you. Well, but it was quasi new then. I wanted to keep exploring the universe, new stuff. But sure. Now it's really feeling derivative. I mean, I should ask that for a question sometime. Do you really want to see another Kirk series, especially if it's like overlapping, if it's retreading the original series time even? There'd just be all these temptations, just redo old episodes. I don't know. Hey, Philip, you think the Kelvin films represent a missed opportunity, but you wish they would have wrapped it up in a TV miniseries. See, that's part of it. People feeling some kind of closure. And that's, if this fourth Kelvin movie had happened, they were all talking about it being the last one. They wanted it to be a wrap up. Not unlike 6 was the wrap up to do better than 5 as a wrap. They didn't want to leave the Kirk era people as the end of 5 left them. Yeah. We are in an era, though, where those walls are down between TV and movies. Absolutely. Yep. Hey, Christian, good to see you there. Kelvin Films, the most popular Trek by, well, inflated box office. Yeah. That's true. Every metric except emotional resonance. I think if you went out and had a screening today with a panel, would a Wrath of Khan or would a Star Trek 09 get more people, get more turn, or do a national tour live events? What would actually get people out of their seats and buying a ticket to go see? Much less of virtual. Philip, you don't have to be apologetic. I think it's a very redundant, duplicative. We have so many other directions we could go and explore. Why do this again? Because I thought the lesson we learned in 1986 was, as much as we love them, as much as they were seminal, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are not Star Trek. Star Trek is not a show from 66. It's a franchise. I thought that was the whole point about the TNG revolution and creating a franchise and all these spin-offs and series. See, this though is the thing about keeping your blinders on and not, or being aware of maybe you're carrying blinders and being aware to what the larger wide world says. Because so many people that weren't fans of the legacy, their memory goes back 15 years to just seeing mainstream advertising for these guys and seeing them pop up on award shows and things. Oh, we're going to deep dive down on what's going on here with Paramount. If the recalibration is to double down on TV, you'd say the answer is to do a reverse Marvel and do movies as crossover events rather than isolated episodic adventures. Also, don't spend $100 million on it. Yeah, kind of go back to the Trek model, in other words, right? Kirk, the kindergarten years. There's Kirk Fleet Academy. Yeah. Yes, Annie. That's great. Oh boy, the live stream was glitchy. Oh, yuck. Okay, I wonder why. Yeah, Kelvin's had killer soundtracks, but not that the Jerry Goldsmiths weren't either. Yeah. Okay. Boy, we've really got a ponderous group today. Wow, look at this chat. Go with the Origins movie, get a new crew, new ship after Picard, or use the TV series from post 017 and base a movie on that. Which would you want to see? I hadn't even thought about this. I guess the closest thing I'm with is new crew, new ship after Picard. Or, I don't know, do you go with a movie setting or do you go with a TV series setting for some of these blank spots that have been screaming for attention? Yeah. Still part of you that thinks we should have a sequestered branch of the franchise, not tied to anything else, maybe nods to it occasionally? Boy, guys, I'm so sorry about the stream today. I don't know what's going on. Is Paramount Plus worth £71 per year? That we're talking about? Yes or no? No. Especially in between fresh, unless you're a constant user who doesn't have physical media discs, then if you're a constant watcher, I guess so. If you're only in it for the fresh new series, then wait till January. I would say, Khan was Con was YouTube, right? Totally free. Mm-hmm. I know the Origins movie completely sounded like it was going to be a. I started to say Caprica for Galactica, or an Endor for Star Wars. It was going to be right after the Vulcans made first contact, and things weren't so space heavy yet, and well before the Warp 5 engines developed in the Enterprise time. In other words, it's like in the 20, like in, well, I guess in 50 years. The Vulcans are coming in 40 years or something? In 2063, 2061. They changed the date, and I've always been confused ever since. If Origins is set in the 2070s and 2080s, after World War III, but way before things progressed to the Enterprise era, 100 years later. Hey, Scott, yes. Thank you. And I didn't show we didn't even put the logo up. My goodness. I'm so bad. That's okay, Philip. You're getting everything, right? You're getting all the links and recordings. Oh boy. This might seem crazy, but just read the room and give us 25th century Trek. Diplomatic bushfires, questions of morality, the fallout, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all of these things are cool. You could have diplomatic brush fires, questions of morality. You could have it, though, at any time. I still want to see the earlier eras. They haven't been fleshed out. So, yeah, Sean, if you're one of those, Star Trek has to move forward. Well, like I say, the 2200s are still in the future. So, but I want it all. I want that, but I don't want to wipe out not having fresh adventures about the time between Kirk and Picard, or the time between Archer and Kirk. That's all a completely blank slate. And don't tell me that can't be written with conviction and not be sunk by canon, because it can be. The novel writers do it all the time. I could spark plug a writer's room, and I know plenty of other people who could too. This is what I mean, Bob. This is what I tried to say in 2008 and 2009. Wait 3 years for a 2-hour movie, then wait another 3 years. Yes, exactly. Funny thing, that's how Star Trek was created and designed. Huh. Yeah, guys, I am so serious. I'm so sorry. Oh no. Oh no. Star Trek Discovery movie. Do you think the bad cojones have been overcome enough for a broad pitch, for a broad audience to make a movie work? Not a TV movie, but a movie? The global box office, did the global numbers react the way the American fan reaction were? And is American fan reaction the dominant reaction? Yes, Scott. Less expensive to produce, easier to take risks. Everything is not a one or nothing. Your one thing crashes, you've lost the whole enchilada. But you can always have a filler episode or a cringer, right? We've had weird Wi-Fi this week a couple of times, but it's been straight through. We'll see. an all-new crew. Well, you had an all-new crew for DS9, and you had an all-new crew for Voyager, and you had an all-new crew for Enterprise, and you had an all-new crew for Discovery. I don't know why I thought everything that we revolutionized in the 80s got beyond this. Good point, Scott. A movie that's produced by a committee, if there's no dominant voice that's asserted itself. And when it's not the #1 movie, immediately the franchise is dead. I'm so glad. I am so glad that the critique the series however you want to, but I'm so glad that the focus of Star Trek became the series and not the soap opera of the movie, because we would have been jerked around, that the world telling us what we thought based on the performance of this movie project, progress. Well, if we're going to think about these paradigms of a Star Trek movie is a reward for a series, that's it. But I don't know that we're in that old paradigm anymore. This is what I would be saying if I'd spent the whole time talking about just future movie. Nothing. Apparently a lot of glitchy stuff. Yes. Thank you. This is what I keep saying. I keep trying to make Kelvin Empire jokes and no one gets it. Thank you. You guys in your lighting have problems with Picard? Is that what's going on? Filming season 3 Picard in Game of Thrones, a Mercovision. Mm-hmm. Huh. Okay. Wait a minute. Terry did not kill Prodigy and Lower Decks. I think you're confused. Terry Matalas just show ran the last 2 seasons of Picard. He had nothing to do with anything about Prodigy and Lower Decks. Yeah. Eventually, Mona. Eventually. Thank you, Astral. Well, good luck on your outcomes at the doctor. Oh, I didn't mention Nick. Yes. Nick Meyer was, and we talked about Khan at the time. It had just been green lit for the audio drama. Oh, good. Okay, good. We got this. You did mean Kurtzman. Yeah. And yes, either one. They did not have. Why would he want to kill one of his own productions? No. Kidians aren't tricks. By a quirk of contract. I know. Eric's the actual character, not just another Edosian, which we've got. Yeah, Edwin, Edosian. You say Edosian, and I say Edwin, which they said both in the animated series. It's kind of whack. More handy than going. Yep. Today is the 23rd of December. Is everybody prepared for what, Rose? Thank you, Scott. That's the direct link right there, everybody. There you go. Yes, no commenting and driving. Yeah. Thank you, Astral. Yay, 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 yay. They have, they have concepts of a plan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know a lot of people had to shift their sensory input for listening to audio drama extended. We've come a long way since, old time days of network radio. Well, the backers, people in the chat can probably answer you better, but the backers have all seen it. They're working on trying to get a release on somewhere. They're working on it. Plushy McCoy is in charge. There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just go crazy, everybody. I'm going to scrutinize the chat and see who gets in trouble. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. This would be funny. I need the samba technical difficulties. Da 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 da. Risk isn't their business. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh, oh, we had a "We'll be right back" card. Oh. Oh boy. Hmm. Yeah, I interviewed Rick for an article. I mean, just on the phone. I should hit him up sometime for something. I hate messing with green screens because there's always some kind of blur or some. I know a really good green screen should do away with that, but I don't want to. I just don't want to mess with it. I don't want to mess with it. uh, enjoy it, Bob. Enjoy that. Thank you. My point exactly. Oh well, you're welcome then. Yay! Wow, you're close to home, don't you? This is what I say though. I never call it a podcast. It's scripted with sound effects and orchestration. Exactly. Exactly. It's old time radio, network radio. Yeah. What? Hi, Rico. Thanks for taking this and running with it. To be a naked gun moment, Larry leaves, and as we hear all the chatter in the background, it's actually crazy chaos happening. Frank Driven. Yeah. Then there'll be like a hubcap roll through at the end. um, I'm glad everybody enjoyed old time radio break here. Your audio drama break. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Big Finish stuff. And audio, of course, Jess, you would think that, but I think it's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I said in that poll, 20 people who just answered that poll didn't even know there was an audio con. Now would be a good time for an alien. Hey, Don, you made it through. You came into an empty room, huh? Yes. Well, that's a huge part of the too. It's why the script audio drama, I'm afraid. They wanted to get it done and still do it in the shrinking world, which was sad. Chase has done Big Finish. Yes, the Who books for ages. I helped get them hooked up years ago. 15 years ago. False alarm. Hey, Narda. Oh, you could hear me outside. Oh, okay. No, we're all gone. Thank you, Don, for the anniversary. Yeah. So, Myth, you could hear that's what was going on. Yeah. We had a little disagreement here, but oh, it hasn't got back to me. I'm glad it's apparently happening then. It's called Remembrance Day in Canada. Okay. Okay. With a military tone to it, or just remembering anybody? I'm gonna say it's probably yes, because we have Memorial Day in May, which used to be called Decoration. Good on you, Wanda. Yes, Nard, it's good to hear from you. Come out back. I'll see what the recording looks like. We'll just see what the recording looks like. Very nice. Very nice. No electrical. No electrical, I don't think. It's just hammering and sawing and nailing. Where time runs much faster. It was the same dialogue between 7. Oh, look at my figure. I go back to the early Zoom Boom days of this. Well, no, not the early days, the middling days of this, when the world blew up and some people could get an HD camera and some people couldn't get. And yeah, everything was trying to catch up. Things had not settled in. The car that killed Yeltsin was recalled for the exact same fault that caused it to roll and pin him. Yeah. Oh, Mythduster, you were on Twitch. Okay, there we go. I hear you, Pedro. I hear you. A quick cartoon version, Mr. Spock? Well, feels like a quick cartoon version would be still a 2-hour wait. But there you go. Point made. Yeah, Narda. There's so much territory and time to explore. I don't. Oh, so you want to do like a Marvel? What was the Spider-Man? Yeah, the Kelvin animated series, the KAS. See, there you go. only 2 characters are allowed more than 5 incarnations. Doctor Who. Oh, the only Kelvin film you saw was Beyond. Once you saw that they were building the Enterprise on the planet, not in space, I was turned off. I know. It's like, why is this so hard? Why are you doing a Star Trek movie if you don't want to do a Star Trek movie? I know. But that's the thing. The Kelvins were universe. So that could all be forgiven. Yeah. Into darkness would never end. Yeah. Beyond was 9 years ago. Yes. Alexander Rodchenko was a soldier on the Rotaran at age 8. Times move on. Yeah, but I think Myth, you came in real. I heard. Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. Of course, this won't get the chat won't be part of the final copy. We'll see. They would read. This is a thing, and you have the wheel from Lower Deck. You have the setup that Lower Decks give that if they want to get over themselves and use an animated concept. Although everything about Spock going to school as a young man from yesteryear, which was animated, no one had any problems adapting that twice now. Discovery and in Kelvin's. Maybe you should, Phil. Don't lose everything. You just like to mention Zathras every once in a while. You don't give money to streaming services that block me on social media. Okay. Well, there is this, Myth Dustards. I always thought that the Klingons were perfect at the height of everything. You could have done Game of Houses if you wanted to be really derivative, only make it Star Trek. Yeah. The Vulcans are coming. It's funny because for ages, and I've had it for different time periods, and the world's suddenly seemed to cotton to it. And I've talked about it for ages, but people. Star Trek, a Quark franchise show. Morn started one. There we go. Yeah. There's a weird thing that happens after a war devastates everything. You build it all back brand new and efficient. Took American manufactured as their stuff sold. With our help. You love that Klingon episode. It's where it was Klingon focused. Right. Or Romulan. Do you know how old the Barnstable twins must be by now? If they were 30 and 78, has that been 50? They must be in there. They'd be in their 70s by now, I think, Christoph. Not that I'm ageist or anything. Oh no, the trick is you give them options and then you steer. It's like the artist would always give 4 or 5 ideas and make 3 of them crappy, so that you kind of, it's the illusion of choice. It's much like American politics, illusion of choice. Star Trek writers aren't really aware of the novels. Well, don't broad brush. You've got Kirsten Beyer there to begin with in the middle of everything. So don't broad brush too much. Yes. Okay, I can see early on, but eventually every show gets to where the fans elevate up because they're the ones that stick with it. And the last year or two, they get to write what they want to write. I think that's what happened on Discovery. Are TOS novels still being written? I thought so. There's a case to be made. I have friends that basically say that the two animated series are, when all is said and done, the two animated series are the most Trek-ish of all the series. And yeah, there's the third season of Picard. There you go. You can't see a thing. Okay, TOS novels are still being written. I thought so. I can't believe that ever. Oh, Pedro, apparently you just did not care for Lower Decks. That was kind of, I thought, the most single unifying project of the last few years. Oh, my goodness. This would not be the first time. They built the sets and didn't give them any light. They look amazing in production with those the lights on. Yeah. Just like DS9, huh? Yeah. They got some, Pedro. They did some about what of like visual effects space footage. A little less maybe than DS9. Some down that they went down that way. Just listen to TOS episodes on audio cassettes taped off your TV. You know what? I taped the same. I probably have 2/3 of them that I home taped, even off the channels that they cut the teaser and they cut things. But I think Doomsday Machine was the only one I put Doomsday Machine on an 8-track so I could listen to it in the car. And I think really the only one I ever really listened to, unless I was having to listen for a quote, an exact quote back in the day. Yay! Thank you, Jesse. I'm doing an interview at 4 before we start open house 6. 4 for 30 minutes or an hour. Cool. Myth, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Why can't I get you here? Go. Listening to Doug's the part 1. Great. Yeah. You guys, I mean, things that you just take for granted, think about, and that's what, especially on the Trek Files, and it's been good because Trek Files is so condensed. But I try to do that here and with the Portales too, is try to bring a context, because I just forget. You forget to think, well, of course, why do we say corded phone? Of course phones are, oh, well, because now they're not corded. They're cordless. I mean, just the mindset of the world and how something that was routine may not feel routine. But you're talking about communicating with stamps and paper and not instantly copying and not having media and not what was important and all of that. Cool, Philip. Yay. I'm not saying a word, Jess. Not saying a word. Oh, there you go. I'm glad she finally got out to an audience. She couldn't get a table at a con for ages. Hey, Melanie. Well, it's been an interesting day today. Apparently, I glitched and then had to take a gap time. But yeah. Oh, no. Wait, am I ignoring your posts? I don't think so. I've been looking all the way through here. Haha, yes, I'm going to read your post just so I can say I'm ignoring it. Wait, what happened? Oh, that was interesting. Can I come back? That was weird. KAS for Kelvin Animated Series Chaos. I like that. Kelvin animated original series. Oh, a question for as long as your sun has burned hot in space. For the Voyager doc, did they raise money to remaster footage from the show in HD with CGI like that? I'm sure they did. I think they had a specialized perk or a window or level or something. I'm pretty sure they did. I mean, I know they did. Now, whether they offered that as a specialized thing, I'm pretty sure they did something specially to call attention to that. Some perk level, donation level. You turned on Netflix, Star Trek 09 is on. There you go. I know. I don't even go there. STID is STID. I call it STID. STID. Yeah, I guess. The unending Jason Bourne fights. Oh my God. Yeah. Flying Jason Bourne fights. Oh, they didn't? Christoph, I thought there was. I could find out easily, but I could have sworn something did. Well, probably true. Give those people the most thing they want. Still layer in some message and theme and all that. Clint has been around for ages. Yes, be on the lookout. I think Clint's going to be a guest on an upcoming in one of your favorites in the top 10 podcasts now or whatever. I know. I know. They're still paying a lot of people, but they've already and they'd be paying people on a live action show. Okay. Vote for Prodigy. Agree there, and still okay. I thought there were some. Uh-oh, do I remember the scene from Voyager Demon with the Doctor full illumination? That's what season. Yeah. This is true. That is a good story. Sad but true. Okay, the Barnstable sisters turned 75. There we go. The Butterfly Girls. Well, now that's been 15. That's been 20 years right there. Or 25, I should say. Yeah, one of my favorite too. Are we here at the end of the chat? Who should we get to play this Indian character? Yeah. No, you're all good. Everybody's all good. Listen, thank you so much. If you haven't gone over, if you haven't gone over and saved your vote for open house Thursday night, please do so. It's no big deal. Just leave your email, and that way I know you're in for the drawing. I know about how many people are coming. I know how many beanie weenies to make. No. And we just have a handle on it. It's just easier to do that. Also, if you want to, please admit, I tried to sketch David's worth for a portal conversation to you. It's all so many facets. I'm really excited about this. I had several other ideas for guests, and when I came around to David, I was like, oh, what actually a perfect choice for the times we live in, especially when we get around to the working by media, animation, and live, and also the friggin' entertainment economy and manufacturing base, and LA, and all of that. But I think it's going to do us. I think that's going to do us, everybody. I've got to get warmed up here for in a little bit to be on. Isn't it the main viewer, TMV? Yeah, something. TCM. What is it? What is it? What is it? Terrace and I will be there, but until then, I'll see some of you there in the chat, and Terrace will be with me. We had a good time with Sean Farrick on on Trek Culture a few weeks ago, and a few more pieces from that show have not been released yet that you'll be seeing soon. But anyway, we will see you, some of you then, but obviously, hopefully some of you can make it Thursday night. Would love to have you there. Love to have you there. Starting at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, and then Dave is on at 7 Pacific and 10 Eastern. I don't know if anybody across the pond is going to stay up that late, because that would be 2 a.m. for the round table and 3 a.m. for Dave. But crazier things have happened. I've had a few folks over the years try to do that too. Our 10th year for Portal. At least now I don't have to explain how virtual meeting works. People tend to know that these days. Thank you all so much for coming by. A huge thank you once again to all of our Patreon folk. Thank you. Thank you. And hey, if you want to join them, it's very simple. It's patreon.com/TreklandLive, a $5 and a $10 level. Really, really do appreciate it, what it's been able to do for the streaming world here overall. And don't ever get up and be interrupted in the middle of your shows. Yeah, Terrace and I are going to be talking about, of course, not the whole time, but for the 60th anniversary next year, the return of the multi-day big tour for location sites with a group on the bus with hotel staying. It's so much fun. It's the week before Vegas. Hopefully some of you can make it. The Valley of Fire tour is a one day and it'll be separate. If that's a little bit too much for you, then please think about, when you come to LA, doing a day tour with me, a Trekland Treks, that you pick out where you want to go with my help, and we pre-plan the whole darn thing. And Doug is back again as our guest. Doug Drexler, don't forget his Kickstarter for his documentaries happening. Another great episode with Doug, and the Trek Files wherever fine podcasts are caught, including the trekfiles.com. It's our page at Memory Alpha, and the whole darn catalog is there now that you can easily scroll to. Everybody, you know where to find me at Larry Nemechek on the Twitter, on the blue sky. It's Larry's Trekland on Instagram, and here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe the channel if you haven't already. It may have slipped by. I'm lagging behind those bozos with nothing to say, but somehow they have 150,000 followers anyway. Please, everybody. Good to see everybody here. Hopefully we'll see you maybe in a couple of hours, maybe on Thursday night, maybe hopefully next Tuesday, right back here again for a TTL. The Portales, I'll see a lot of the Europeans and some of the daytimers at European Ask Dr. Trek tomorrow, midday. I think that's going to do it for us, gang. Please, please, please stay healthy and do all the things. Please, please, please stay awoke. Check the sources and all the other stuff to keep your sanity and stomp down on the misinformation. And Trek well, everybody.